Prepare yourself.
Oh, this is the Ninja Troll Digicast.
Hello again and welcome to the Cathedral of Wisdom. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from what was once only an inarticulate mass of lifeless tissue, I give you two cultured, sophisticated men about time.
Moisturize me.
We went from Young Frankenstein to Doctor Who there.
Oh.
That's a big stretch. Hello, everybody. My name is Tim Dixon. I'm here with Mike Worth, and this is the Ninja Troll Digicast.
Could be Wes.
Could be raining. That's right.
Welcome, Ninja Troll Nation. Are you doing your tribute? Should I?
Yeah. We might as well, just because we've already made like three references here. Gene Wilder passed away. What was it, week and a half ago, something like that.
Yeah.
For me, especially, I think I probably speak for Mike as well. Really, really sad news because he's one of, I think, one of the best comedic actors that we've ever had.
Even his face is funny. He's always so expressive.
And his timing was so dead on. He always delivered the line perfectly, right in the spot that it needed. If it needed a pause just a little bit to cook before he hit it, he knew when to do that. His timing was just spot on all the time. He was so funny, and it was some of my favorite movies: Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein. It doesn't get much better than those as far as I'm concerned. So to hear that he had passed away, it was pretty sad news. So we wanted to kind of do a little tribute there, and obviously the open there about the inarticulate mass was from Young Frankenstein. We're not going to sing "Putting on the Ritz," unfortunately. That would probably put us off the air completely. So,
but our brains are in jars.
Yes,
labeled Abby Normal.
Abby Normal, exactly. So let's take a look at what we got coming up today on this episode of the Ninja Troll.
Welcome, Ninja Troll Nation. So on this edition of the Ninja Troll Digicast, I didn't even write this, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it live.
We're going to do it live.
Well, in honor of the, what is this, 155th anniversary of Star Trek?
Yesterday
50th.
was the 50th anniversary of Star Trek, and I am just giddy.
You are. You're a little tweaked. Thank you.
I am tweaked.
Put it on stun. So Timmy's going to give us an amazing breakdown of all of the what is it? What are you doing again?
The ships
that
ships
were
used
of Star Trek.
because they became almost a character.
Enterprise.
Yes, I did. I did one showcase one time on just the Enterprise and the different versions of it. This I'm going to specifically go into each show and go, okay, in this show it was this ship, because they did have, other than Enterprise, they did have other ships that were focused, and in a lot of ways, the ships became almost a character in the shows. So I think it's going to be part one of part 3 series of showcases we're going to do to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Star Trek, which, like I said, yesterday, September 8th, 50 years ago, The Man Trap was the first episode to air on NBC, and that kicked off. I mean, it was there's all these people that have this big argument at Star Wars and Star Trek. And
that's still an argument?
First off, I don't understand that.
That's an argument.
Why do you have to choose? Because I love them both.
They both star with star.
So you can't
have both.
They got to fight.
You can't. Space Trek.
But
cool.
But really, if people who down Star Trek and love Star Wars, you also have to admit, if it wasn't for Star Trek, you wouldn't have Star Wars.
Totally.
So it's something. Star Trek is extremely dear to my heart, and so this being the 50th anniversary, we want to do something special to commemorate it. So we're going to do a 3-part showcase. Part 1 will be on the ships.
Part 2 will be called Timmy's Brain.
Oh Lord, I'll be walking around with you with a remote control.
But in our movie and TV news. We've got some interesting announcements about some things that we thought were dead but are coming back.
Oh,
movie-wise. Oh yeah. See, should have read the rundown.
Well, It'd be a surprise to everybody.
Everybody today. And then in TV news, we got some reveals, some behind-the-scenes photos of some of our favorite TV shows, which are coming back soon in October.
Sweet. Yep.
And, we saw some costumes, so we're going to talk about all that stuff.
Yeah, we literally just minutes ago saw them.
That's right. This just in. And then in the comic rack, we've got an interesting Alan Moore announcement that we're going to talk about, as well as some other things, titles and things that are coming out.
This will be very cool.
It will be very cool. So here is Timmy D with some tidbits.
All right. Well, first thing, we usually do birthdays. We don't have a whole lot of birthdays because it's been 3 weeks since we've had a show. So keeping up with all of them since then is just
look online.
It's crazy. Just look online too. The one that I did write down in 1797, Mary Shelley was born.
Wow.
I think that's a notable thing because a lot of people look at Frankenstein as the first science fiction novel.
Oh, yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. So I think it's a notable thing to point out. So we wanted to commemorate that. And for like we were saying, the Star Trek 50th anniversary, they have come out with a Bluetooth comm badge that works with your phone.
I'm so excited.
Take my money.
Yeah. Number one.
Take my money. And I didn't get a chance. I saw this posted, but I didn't get a chance to use these. But Facebook had Star Trek emojis.
Yeah, I used them.
Did you have to activate them somehow or something?
No, you just held down the and then it showed it was basically the normal ones, but
I tried that and it showed me the regular ones.
Really?
I'm so sad.
What?
I would have been doing that on everybody's
Mine
post.
just worked. Yeah.
I don't know.
You're on Windows, that's why.
Facebook, you have failed me again for the last time.
You have failed the city.
And we talked about Gene Wilder passing away. That's unfortunate. But and the Pharma Bro and Chris Evans have been in a Twitter feud.
Yes,
You'll have to help me out here. I don't know who Pharma Bro is.
So Pharma Bro is a nickname for, I forget his name, Chris something, Shalizik, I think his name is. But he's the guy who bought that AIDS drug and then jacked up the price 5,000%. So he became the Pharma Bro because, way to go.
Douchebag.
But he got into a Twitter, he's been getting into Twitter scuffles with a lot of people, first with Patton Oswalt, the comedian.
Yeah.
And actually made fun of him because his wife passed away.
Oh,
and said, you get a pass today because your wife is dead.
Nice.
But then he gets into it with Chris Evans and literally is threatening him with roundhouse kicks. He's like, you should come down to Brooklyn and we'll fight one. He sounds 15. I mean, it's the worst thing ever.
Yikes. Is that, do we know that that's the real guy?
It totally is because I've looked at his Twitter feed and it's like, this isn't a new thing. He fights with everybody.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, he's just really I think he loves being hated. So anyway,
Yikes.
I want to see Chris Evans beat him up.
Oh, that would be really nice. I mean, it won't happen. He's not stupid enough to do that, but it would be really cool. Because Chris Evans is not a small dude.
No.
I mean, it's not somebody
he's
I
not
would
Captain America fighting-wise, but he'll still kick your ass.
Yeah, it's not somebody I would be messing with.
Especially the Farmer Bro.
Exactly. But it would be nice to watch him get a beat down.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah. A Florida Walmart made a display with twin towers of Coke Zero underneath a banner that says, "We will never forget 9/11."
Yeah, that's totally tasteless. Somebody walked into Walmart, took a picture of these twin towers of Coke Zero, and it says, "We will never forget."
I can't even wrap my head around who would think that was a good idea.
America.
Yeah.
Larry in the stockroom apparently was like, I got an idea.
Well, that's step one. Don't go to Walmart.
And I'm going to run it by Dwight, the manager.
Yeah, that's one of the few reasons. Actually, one of the many reasons that I never go to Walmart. And Amtrak follows up on a 7-month-old tweet of a woman stuck in an elevator at a Baltimore airport. Amtrak followed up on this?
Yeah, because it was in the Port Authority.
Oh, so I guess that
transferring from the train to the Baltimore airport, and Amtrak was like, "Are you still stuck?"
It took
them literally
7 months.
Did that. Yeah, they literally were like, "We have an unclosed issue.
We got to close the ticket, lady. We just got to check and make sure."
You out?
No, well, I think at this point you could close the ticket because she's either gotten out or she's dead.
Really dead. Yeah.
Really dead, exactly.
Yeah.
But good news. She is out.
She is.
Hopefully she got out within an hour.
They gave her extra peanuts.
She's fine. Yeah, free Amtrak. And a Connecticut man may be guilty of the worst parking job in recorded history, 8 feet off the ground.
Yep.
I love this story. This is like from Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Plainville police said the man was driving his girlfriend's Saturn LS when he lost control, sped over a rock island, went airborne, and broke through a fence, according to NBC Connecticut. The unidentified driver ended up smashing into a building 8 feet in the air. A few minutes earlier and about a mile away, police had pulled over the man on suspicion of drunk driving. Duh. But he took off when officers told him to put the car in park. The Hartford Courant reports. That, I think, is probably the most justified police stop in history.
I think so. Yep. And then they walked up and said, meow.
I need to see the
dash cam,
the body
footage?
cam
Oh,
footage of that guy. I bet you
it's
is
so hilarious.
Is a piece of work, boy. Hopefully nobody was like in the office that he crashed into.
No, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was at night because he was driving drunk. But the photo of him is from during the day, and the car is literally like embedded in the side.
That
of
is awesome.
Place. It's sticking out like somehow.
If it was Lethal Weapon, it went all the way through the building and out the other side and landed on the road again and kept going.
Right.
So
I can't believe there's a bomb in the toilet.
And on September 3rd, the Olympic gold medalist in which was it?
Gymnastics.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Threw the ceremonial first pitch before the New York Mets took on the Washington Nationals. And it was anything but ordinary. Before throwing the ball towards the plate, Hernandez casually landed an aerial cartwheel. That's cool. We need footage of that to put on the website.
We'll put it up on Facebook.
It's
the pitch was a little lame, though.
Oh,
she did this great move, and I was like, oh, that's going to rock it. And then she was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And it kind of, yeah.
Well, that's kind of an ongoing thing is people embarrassing themselves throwing the ceremonial first pitch. Because you don't have to stand on the mound, but it's like a matter of pride. People think I
will hit it from there.
Yeah, and they don't.
Yeah.
45 feet is a long way.
Yeah, throw a ball
so
accurately.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, we had we record the show at Queen's University in Charlotte, and last Friday night it was supposed to be Queen's night at the Charlotte Knights baseball, and Dr. Davies, our president, was going to throw out the first pitch.
Oh no!
She was concerned. She was more than a little concerned about it. Unfortunately, or unfortunately, however you look at it, rain caused us to cancel the festivities. So. She dodged a bullet.
It's chemtrails, Timmy. I'm telling you, it's a conspiracy. It's the Russians.
She was a little worried about that. So, but that's our tidbits. Now let's transition right into movie and TV news.
Meanwhile, back at the Cathedral of Wisdom, it's the movie and TV news on the Ninja Troll Digicast.
All right, first big news is that we are going to get Deathstroke in Ben Affleck's Batman movie.
I'm so happy.
And do you know this actor, Joe
Manganiello?
Manganiello, thank you so much. Yeah, he's in another show.
He was
right?
in True Blood. He was in, I think he was in the Magic Mike movies. It's one of those guys that you see a picture of him and you're like, oh, hey, it's that guy. I think he's
married. A long list of those people.
That's true, yeah, especially for me. He is, I believe, married to Sofia Vergara.
Oh, which is who?
The Colombian lady on Modern Family.
Oh, okay. I don't know that.
You don't want?
No, I have not watched that.
I'm batting 1,000 here. Okay, he has been on various roles on ER. He was in Magic Mike.
Okay.
What to Expect When You're Expecting. Sabotage. This is the worst article. He is married to Sofia Vergara.
Okay.
He is, let's see, the movies he has been in recently. Oh, he's playing himself in Pee-wee's Big Holiday.
Oh, that's right.
There you go.
Yeah, that's right. They become best friends.
Okay.
And then he has to drive to New York to go to Joe's birthday.
Oh, okay. This you'll remember. He played Flash Thompson in the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie.
Perfect. Okay, so he's got cred.
Yeah,
okay,
he was
cool.
the one that
not just from Pee-wee.
he was the one that punched the locker when Peter first realized he had really cool powers,
Right.
and was able to get out of the way.
Right. Of the
Yeah.
beatdown in the hallway.
I had completely forgotten that he was really young back then.
So, according to the Wall Street Journal here, though, Mr. Joe was indeed the actor in the Deathstroke armor in the video that Ben Affleck shared a couple weeks back,
Nice.
boasting that he was coming back. So, and then Jeff Johns confirmed it in a recent interview.
Yeah.
So we're all good. We're gonna
Yeah,
get Deathstroke.
I'm very happy. I think he brings a lot to the role. I mean,
He's an older guy.
He's an older guy.
Work
So
with the gray hair.
It
right?
fits perfectly. And he obviously has a physical presence on screen because he's a big guy.
He's a big dude.
Yeah, he's a big dude, and he's going to be next to Ben Affleck, who has pumped himself up considerably. I'm not saying he's juicing, but I'm just saying. We don't have to test them, so it's no big deal.
Acting, enhancing drugs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you have to have somebody who has a physical presence on
So they
screen.
can fight. I mean, they're going to probably
Oh yeah.
scrap for multiple times. I'm excited about that. I mean, I wish though the guy who played him on Arrow was
That
on,
would
'cause
be
he
really
was
cool.
supremely good at being Deathstroke. Well, anyway, so that's very exciting. I wanted to kick off with that.
Yeah.
But this is exciting. So new pics from the Spider-Man Homecoming set reveal Spidey palling around with the character Ned Leeds.
Okay.
And wasn't he the Hobgoblin?
I believe so.
Because when I did a search for him, all the comic panels came up showing him with the mask off, Hobgoblin's mask off, and it revealing this guy. And I was just curious if they're going to set that up, right? Because we haven't had Hobgoblin.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we haven't. Okay, so Ned Leeds is loading.
Yeah.
Wait for it. Google, come on.
Ned loading?
You're leaving me hanging here. He was a reporter at the Daily Bugle, where Peter Parker works.
So they're obviously showing that as they're friends. They probably work together.
Yeah, it is. It doesn't mention that at the top that he's the Hobgoblin, but the picture there is him
screaming
no, yeah, because he was been unmasked. Yeah, he's a reporter. He worked with Peter and vied for the affection of young Betty Brant against Peter.
Ooh.
Yeah, but then he finds out that the first Hobgoblin was Roderick Kingsley. Then Ned, he's
Took
brainwashed by Kingsley.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep, there you
To
go.
become. All right.
Yeah.
And then played on his hatred for Peter, and it was easy to do what was
Yep.
what. Gotcha.
And he was murdered and replaced by as the Hobgoblin.
And replaced.
Yes.
Oh,
Well, you can't let the Hobgoblin go. You just got to go.
the Hobgoblin.
Yes.
So shifting from that really quick, back to the DC Cinematic Universe. But Jeff Johns and John Berg were, of course, brought in to sort of course correct the DCEU after the less than positive reaction to Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad. And essentially, this is going to be the thing going forward. They did it on Suicide Squad, but they're going to lighten things up, which I don't know if that's the answer.
Have you seen Suicide Squad yet?
I have.
Yeah, I
loved
still
it.
have not.
I loved it.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was excellent. I kind of went in going, all right, I know all the critics are going to poop on this.
Yeah.
But you know what? Now that I've read all these stories throughout the history of DC, I was cool.
Yeah.
I loved learning about Enchantress and sort of some of the other things. I mean, I will say I would have loved to have seen more origin stuff from the other characters, because
get a
Harley
little
Joker
backstory.
was pretty extensive.
Yeah.
But solid film. The Amanda Waller actress, spot on.
Yeah.
Spot.
Yeah, she looked pretty good.
Yeah.
It's
And
definitely
she does the Waller things. where, you think she's dead, she shows up.
Yeah.
All right, I won't say any more, so you got to see it.
Cool.
It's a really good film. This is cool. So there's some really cool behind the scenes shots of Josh Brolin in a mocap suit for Avengers Infinity
for
War.
Thanos.
Yep.
Nice.
So they're showing him with the team, the motion capture team, and the director trying to sort of figure out what's what. So
what he's gonna do, and
the article sort of made it sound like this was a big piece of news, but we've known it's Josh Brolin for a while.
Yeah, it's not a surprise.
No. But we've never seen him do because it's going to be a giant CG body and all that.
Well, he did a little bit of that for
Yeah, what was at the end?
Guardians.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, he actually, I mean, he didn't do a whole lot. He kind of sat in a chair, but he was Thanos for that, with the big gigantic chin.
Yeah.
He's already got a big chin, and then they put more on it. So.
I know. Mikey. Sorry, that's all I see is him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see
here.
that.
The Fratellis. Okay, so here's what you've been excited about. Okay, so Booster Gold.
Yeah.
Will the film is going to be separate because Greg Berlanti is involved.
Oh.
And he said in an interview that his Booster Gold film will have no connective tissue, in quotes, to the Batman versus Superman or its expanded universe.
Yeah, he doesn't want. I mean, because it's
super lighthearted.
Oh, I think absolutely it will be,
because that's all Booster is.
Exactly.
I mean, there's no real darkness to Booster.
No. No, he's basically he's like a frat guy who has come back in time. And that's how he is a superhero. He just brought tech that's normal for his time
to our time. Yeah, like with Skeets and stuff.
Yep.
I will say though, in 52, like when Skeets gets crazy.
Oh yeah.
That was cool. That was some development for Booster.
Yeah, but I think most probably it's going to be with Berlanti in charge is going to be much lighter,
right,
than what they're doing with the
rest of it.
The rest of it. So yeah, it's probably not a bad idea.
It's interesting because this will be the first of the comic, kingdoms, so to speak, in the cinematic universe to have a standalone film like that that is not connected. Right, because all Marvel stuff is pretty much connected. Yep. Even Deadpool, right? Like the cross
to the X-Men, yeah.
Right, and we're seeing Spider-Man come over from Sony. So anyway.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. I know you love Booster so much.
I do.
You're so excited.
I am.
We don't know yet who the villain's going to be, or if
Doesn't
we're going to have Beetle. Or, you're just going to.
Oh yeah, I really hope we have Blue Beetle in it as well. Yeah. If we
you
don't,
want Ted Kord or Jaime Reyes?
I want Ted Kord.
Yeah, original.
Blue and gold is Ted Kord and Booster.
Nice.
That's
that comic story.
Yeah.
Just sort of speak. We're going to talk a little bit about a few other things here, but still with Berlanti. Apparently, he pitched a Iron Man script to Marvel in 2005.
Huh.
That
a script for a movie?
For a movie. Yep.
3 years before they actually did it.
That's right. And Marvel wanted that feeling, right? Tony Stark was an alcoholic in it by then and everything. Berlanti said, my pitch certainly wasn't as good as the eventual film. So everyone made the right choice.
Huh.
So, yeah, we might have had like a, Iron Man, Tony Stark is the coolest guy, right? Like that crappy animation,
the heart of steel
motion comic.
A cool exec with a heart of steel.
A cool exec, heart of steel.
Don't make me break into that song.
Yeah, I'll harmonize. All right, so this is cool. The Crow reboot.
Oh yeah,
is to begin shooting in January 2017.
Nice.
So we're good to go. We're going to have Jason Momoa, right?
Nice.
From Game of Thrones.
That could be really, really cool.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. And it was announced in August to be in talks to have him star in the movie. He's currently filming Justice League, so with his role as Aquaman. And then, he'll also be starring in a standalone comic book Aquaman film directed by James Wan and scheduled for 2018. So in between that, he'll be doing this.
Nice.
Yep. And I think
I'm glad it's going forward, because I'd like to see it done and done well,
and not have somebody die.
Yeah,
that always really cast a shadow over the original.
Yeah,
which was set to be great, but they had to fill in the extra. Did they have an extra?
I still think it was
double?
They had some. They had to do some stuff to fill in what hadn't been shot with Brandon Lee.
Right.
I like the original. I mean, I would be interested to see how different it would have been if Brandon Lee hadn't have been killed. Yeah.
Right. He got killed on set, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a prop malfunction, a prop gun. That was how he was originally supposed to die, if I'm not badly mistaken.
In the film?
In the film, he was shot as he was carrying groceries and like heading home. And because that he died filming that scene, they didn't use it, so they came up with like a new, because I
didn't know this level of detail.
Yeah, he was in the movie. he died by falling from their apartment because their apartment was like way up in like the Belfry or
This is
whatever.
what, 94 when this came out? 95?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, this, like,
But they had to the scene where he was. I do remember this. The death scene where he was falling.
mm-hmm.
They superimposed his face.
That
over,
I remember.
Yeah,
they, in the news they talked about that.
because they
It
had
was
very
high tech.
Yeah, for then it was very high tech,
Like,
and
whoa.
the effects do not hold up to DVD transfer.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, I haven't even watched it on Blu-ray, and yeah, it's
Oh.
like where you get shot through the hand, and he
Oh, you
like
can
looks
see
through it.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks bad. It looks really bad.
Oh man.
Yeah, you
All
can
right.
totally tell it's not his hand there.
Yeah, right.
yeah, it's bad.
Well, that should be exciting. We'll have that coming out pretty soon. The only sort of issue with this that was sort of miring the production was that Relativity, who is producing this, they had bankruptcy in 2015.
Okay, and that's when James O'Barr was saying it's going to get made. It might not be with them.
Right.
If they can't do it, then I'll just take it somewhere else.
They'll shop it around.
Yeah.
But in March 2016, they emerged from bankruptcy with the reorganization plan to cut down its debts. The Crow will serve as a major project in revamping the studio's post-bankruptcy image.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay, the last bit of great movie news. We're getting Super Troopers 2.
Oh, that's right. I heard that the other day.
It's in production.
Giddy up.
And we noticed because Broken Lizard, the JH, Chakandara, and that whole crew, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, say Team Ramrod, say Team Ramrod. Farva! They tweeted out a behind-the-scenes photo of them.
Nice. So they're actually, not from like shooting.
It was like them together and like
Okay.
it's a go. Like they kind of,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's not like a behind-the-scenes. It's not yet
Yeah.
begun. Okay. So we're going to shift here to television news. All right, we're going to start with a pretty dirty rumor that's been out there that Angela Lansbury was going to be on Game of Thrones.
It has been shot down. I saw that this morning.
Thank goodness.
Yes. Because that was my first. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Well, here's the reason it's viable, right? So who is cast is Jim Broadbent, who he was in Harry Potter. He played Slughorn.
Professor Slughorn.
Professor Slughorn. That really goofy guy. So he's kind of an outsider being brought in, and he's kind of goofy and old English actor type deal. And then Angela Lansbury was reported by a German sort of I guess what you would call it, like a tabloid website.
Yeah.
And it had viability because of the reference to Jim
he's
Broadbent.
an older,
So they thought, oh, all right, well, that sounds viable, but it's completely been unconfirmed.
Yeah. Her publicist shot it down. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure everybody was so sad. I was dying to see what on earth are they going to do with her? Are they going to kill her?
Like, she'll cut somebody's head off or something. She's 90 years old. She doesn't need to be.
Totally. I mean, I got to say my favorite role of hers is in Bedknobs and Broomsticks, where she plays the witch.
Murder, she wrote.
Murder, she wrote.
Man, I'd watch out for her because everywhere she went, somebody died.
That's right. That's right. She never carried a gun. Yeah.
They were dropping like flies, though.
They were. Yep. That's why the show is called that.
That's right.
So you're going to love this. So a lost Doctor Who story called The Power of the Daleks is coming to BBC America in animated form.
Oh, cool.
And I posted the sort of teaser preview for it on the Facebook page for your viewing enjoyment.
Sweet.
So the solicitation here is in the celebration of the 50th anniversary of the debut of the second Doctor, Patrick Troughton,
I guess.
Okay. BBC America and BBC Worldwide will air an animated adaptation of the 6-part Doctor Who, The Power of the Daleks storyline that introduced him.
Oh, nice.
As longtime fans of the Time Lord know, there are no complete film recordings of the 1966 serial that introduced the mop-topped regeneration of the first Doctor, William Hartnell, as the master tapes were wiped out in a 1974 purge due to the high price of videocassettes. They were then repurposed for use on new productions.
That happened a lot back then.
Yeah, you were telling me that like they didn't think that things would go like it aired and that was it.
And tape was expensive,
Right.
So
we're going to use it again.
We're going to use it again. Yeah, exactly. So a lot of stuff got recorded over that people would go crazy for,
and we'll never see again.
We'll never see it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So save your masters.
Mm-hmm.
So using original audio recordings, surviving photographs, and film clips, they were able to commission Charles Norton, the film director, and comic book artists Martin Garrity and Adrian Salmon were commissioned to produce the most ambitious Doctor Who archive restoration ever attempted.
That's going to be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Yep, and I'm sure our buddy Mr. Chris is going to be super excited about that, him being such a giant Doctor Who aficionado. Yep. So, cartoon time.
Sweet.
Yeah. A Gotham teaser came out, and it reveals a Court of Owls mask, which looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, they've been teasing that for a while, I think, although I haven't watched any of last season.
I know. I'm so sorry, fans. We don't do Gotham as often as we should. And the other cool thing is that the villains in the new season will have a new hideout in the nightclub Sirens.
Is that owned by anybody? Do we know?
Didn't say.
Specifically?
Didn't say. Well, I'm sure we'll find out.
I wonder for some kind of connection to yet another villain that they can introduce.
Oh, boy, yeah. They're stacking them up, man.
They are stacking them up.
It's just crazy. It's unbelievable. So, talking about Berlanti now in the television world, basically we're going to have a Black Lightning TV show.
Yeah.
That's going to be incredible.
I'm excited about this, and it is said to be heading to Fox.
Yeah,
so it is. I mean, they're not saying they're making a pilot and they're going to see if it's picked up. They're saying it's heading to Fox.
Totally.
So it looks like it's a go.
I'm excited. I mean, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, after reading this Final Crisis story, like I got really interested in Black Lightning. So to find out why he was so special. You know, like why did Grant Morrison choose him as sort of this great acolyte for Darkseid?
Yeah.
So I think a TV show would be great, and I'm sure the effects are going to be just wonderful.
Yeah, they're going to look pretty good. And you got, I mean, somebody, Greg Berlanti and
the game's Salim and Myra Brock Akil.
Okay.
Those are going to be the people who are producing and working on this.
Okay.
Writers, showrunners.
And his producing partner, Sharon something. I've forgotten her name. No.
Sharon means Karen.
That is not right.
No.
But yeah, they're, I mean, the same people that are in charge of the shows that we love so much, Flash, Arrow, Legends, and Supergirl.
Yes.
It's going to be
that core.
Yeah, they're going to be doing this new show. So I've got all the confidence in the world in it.
That's going to be great.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really good.
Let's hope it just, it can stay on Fox and doesn't have to migrate over to CBS.
We've got one more day at CW. They could just pop it right in there on Friday.
That's true.
See? Got open
Friday
spot.
Night Lightning.
That's right.
Awesome. So some Flash news, okay? So classic DC Comics supervillain Mirror Master will arrive in Central City in the upcoming third season of The Flash. But this incarnation will deviate from the previous incarnations of the Rogue. He will not have his signature gun.
Oh.
So in the comics, two men have assumed the mantle of Mirror Master. The first was ex-convict Sam Scudder, while the second was Scottish assassin Evan McCullough. Scudder used his technical prowess to create the Mirror Master costume and gadgetry, which granted him the ability to travel through mirrors.
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
They'll do that so well.
That's going to be awesome.
And it might just be that he just has he's a meta and he can do it and it's no problem versus the tech. And McCullough inherited the original Mirror Master gear and assumed the role later on. As previously reported, the CW drama will feature a version of Sam Scudder played by Friday Night Lights alum Gray Damon. But as TV Line now reveals, the Mirror Master won't come armed with his character's signature mirror gun. The third season of the CW's The Flash is fast approaching, and the most recent promo titled Time Strikes Back creates an even more anticipation for next month's season premiere, offering a mix of new and previously unseen footage. The trailer opens with Barry Allen asking, "Where are we?" The question is posed to co-star John Wesley Shipp, right, who's his dad and also Jay Garrick.
Yeah, we don't know which
one
he's acting. He's asking.
Right.
Yeah, it could be Jay or it could be because his dad in the jacked up Flashpoint timeline, his dad's alive.
Right.
So it could be either.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, but his mom and Nora, right?
And
his
Nora,
mom
yes,
are all alive. So we don't know who that is. And then Ship tells him that they're in Central City, to which Barry asks, no, I mean, what year? The question suggests after his actions in the finale that triggered the new Flashpoint reality of Season 3. This also suggests he's speaking with Jay Garrick and maybe not his father.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
True.
The remaining...
Jay's going to whoop his ass.
He is.
What the hell were you thinking?
Yeah, he should. I would love a big Flash beatdown. That would be great. Just a flat, like a fast whipping with the switch.
Go cut your own switch.
Go cut your own switch and come back to your daddy. The remaining shots of the sequence reveal consequences stemming from Barry's trip through time very quickly at the end of the last season, including Iris West questioning her relationship with Barry. It then becomes clear to Barry that his actions have created a brand new timeline, and the trailer ends with an alternate version of Cisco Ramon stating to Barry, wait a minute, there's a timeline where I'm not rich? That's a glitch in the universe, which I thought was a great way to end it.
Awesome.
So I'm excited about this upcoming Flashpoint. Like, I think it's going to be funny for being such a serious story from the comics and like a big story.
Yeah.
And I'm excited because we're going to read it as part of our multiverse segment, and then it will hopefully coincide nicely with the episode, which will be just one anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, talking about Arrow now. We got photos through Twitter of the filming of Season 5, and we saw the costumes of Mr. Terrific, Wild Dog, and Artemis.
And they look awesome.
They do.
They really well. Artemis looks like she's got dirt on her face.
Yeah,
but and Mr. Terrific unfortunately was looking down, so you couldn't completely see it. But you definitely see the T on the face.
I think he's gonna look great.
Yeah, I think he's gonna look great. And Wild Dog looks awesome.
I'm not familiar with Wild Dog.
Nobody is.
Nobody
except for me.
Except for you. Well, if you're happy, then we can all be happy.
He was a gun-toting vigilante. And I lean towards those. I like gun-toting vigilantes in comics. And I just thought the name was hilarious. So I picked it up and I actually enjoyed the comic. And they tried a couple times to do like miniseries, and it didn't stick. But yeah, he wears a hockey mask and then a football jersey with a cartoon laughing dog on the front. And I don't know how they're going to do it on the show, but in the comics, that was like his high school football jersey.
Seriously,
which is kind of silly, I thought, because somebody's going to go, hey, that's from East Side High.
Daryl,
let's look at the yearbook.
Yeah, East Side High.
So, yeah, but the picture that was tweeted out, he looked really, really cool.
Cool.
So yeah, I was real happy with that.
Comic relief or some dangerous.
He was not comedy relief. He was like the Punisher.
A nutcase. Okay.
Yeah, it was a nutcase. Yeah.
All right, cool. And he gets to hang out with Mr. Terrific.
Yep.
Awesome. So the last little segment. Well, we don't have any Legends of Tomorrow news, but we have Supergirl news. And it's about Mon-El. So what we're learning is that from executive producer Andrew Kreisberg shared his thoughts on whether or not Kara can trust fellow alien Mon-El. And he said that Mon-El will both be a ally and a villain, enemy at the same time. So they'll probably have competing interests of some sort. So that's exciting. So closing the wormhole on the Berlanti verse, in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we're going to have the premiere episode, The Ghost. Which will hopefully.
Oh, that's the name of the episode?
Yeah, which
sweet.
It's going to be the Ghost Rider.
So they're hitting Ghost Rider immediately.
Kablam!
Nice.
And they tease a confrontation between May, Mac, and Robbie Reyes.
Sweet.
So
and Robbie Reyes is the Ghost Rider. So
nice.
Or the Ghost Driver, if you want.
Ghost Driver.
Because he doesn't have a motorcycle. He has a car. So
it's cool. It's a muscle car.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Ichabod. Okay, so last thing here, this is from Luke Cage. They released a list of the episodes names.
Oh, did they?
And I just thought they were kind of funny. So the first one is Moment of Truth. Second one is Code of the Streets. Third is Who's Gonna Take the Weight? ? Fourth is Step in the Arena. 5 is Just Get a Rep. 6 is Suckers Need Bodyguards. 7 is Manifest. What?
I saw a documentary. It was like a real quick documentary on the music, and they mentioned the titles are all names of songs
Oh, okay.
by somebody, and I can't remember who
Like
it was.
Curtis Mayfield or something, or
No,
Superfly, or what's his name? The guy who did Shaft, Isaac Hayes.
Shut your mouth.
I was just talking about Shaft.
I'm just talking about Shaft.
I was talking about Isaac Hayes.
Yeah, but there was if you look at it, I think I shared it on the Facebook page. There's a documentary talking to Redman and I forget whoever else who worked on the music, and they have a very specific. They looked at each episode like an album.
Oh.
And they had the episode had a feel to it, and they built the music
for
to
every
match
episode.
that.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and I am so ready for this show. It is gonna be awesome.
They're getting all the right talent behind it, so it's gonna really just kill. Next episode 7 is Manifest. 8 is Blowing Up the Spot. 9 is DWYCK. 10 is Take It Personal. 11, Now You're Mine. 12 is Soliloquy of Chaos. And then 13, You Know My Steez. So, last bit of news here for television before we spin the comic rack is from Walking Dead.
Nice.
So this is interesting. So in the season finale of The Walking Dead Season 6, Negan selected a member of Rick's crew and beat them to death. Right? We don't know who that is. So it cut short before it ended, leaving us to wonder who's going to show up in that beginning of Season 7, right? Whoever's taking it like a champ. So speaking to Entertainment Weekly, director Greg Nicotero discussed the decision to leave the dead character's identity a mystery, and then suggested that the character won't be the only one to bite the dust in the Season 7 premiere.
Yeah.
So we're going to have maybe more than one death.
Yeah, I feel sure. I feel sure.
He said, I would have still have supported doing it the way that we did because of the fact that the story doesn't end there. If we would have shown the deaths, then you would have felt you wouldn't have felt for our characters in Season 7 the way we need you to, Nicotero explained. And the thing I think a lot of people will get out of this is how the moment changes the entire makeup of our universe within a split second. And it's that moment that launches our entire Season 7 into that direction.
Well, you can see that if you watch the finale again. Rick, before anybody dies, Rick is broken. He is because he was so confident, and he thought they were going to do everything. And all of a sudden he realizes he's completely powerless. He cannot do a damn thing.
He's got to get on his knees.
There's nothing he can do to save somebody that he loves, and he is a completely broken man. And so this is launching right into All Out. Well, the storyline in the comics was All Out War.
Yeah.
So I figured that's going to play out across Season 7.
Yeah.
And it's I cannot wait because this is.
And we'll get the Kingdom, right? The new group of people.
And Shiva, the
tiger.
Yep. That is going to be awesome.
It will. But notably, Nicotero refers to deaths that is more than one. While fans are acutely aware that one of Rick's group's members will die in Season 7 premiere, Nicotero's comment suggests that another character can and will meet their end at Negan's hands. So he said, last thing here. So if we have done it at the end of Season 6, it wouldn't have had the same impact. And I guarantee you people would tell me I'm wrong. And people would tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about. But I'm speaking from my perception and my opinion. So I feel like starting Season 7, it's like we'll give the audience a better emotional place and with which to process what happens and really able to understand how it changed every single person moving forward, he added.
Yeah.
So this is smart to do that way.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think he's right. And I think it's one of those things that, yes, we want to see, we want to know because we care about those characters. And you realize now you've got to wait months to find out who it was. But I think also we have to put our trust in Greg Nicotero and Scott Gimple and Robert Kirkman because they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I think they release the information at the right point.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll start it off like, whoa. But then we won't be like, oh, the season's over, like with death.
With death, exactly.
We'll go into it like,
yeah,
I think it's incredibly smart. But just wanted to mention here that Walking Dead will return to AMC on Sunday, October 23rd.
Cannot wait.
We are so excited.
Yes.
So that does it for us, Timmy, for movie and TV news.
All right, there's our movie and TV news. Coming up, we're going to take a spin of the comic rack.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Show your allegiance to the Ninja Troll by following us on social media. On Facebook at facebook.com/Ninja Troll Digicast. On Twitter at Ninja Troll Show. On Instagram at Ninja Troll Digicast. And find us on YouTube at youtube.com/C/Ninja Troll Digicast.
What have you done with those plans?
Or you can always contact us at ninjatroll@digitaltuxedo.com. You should tend to it quickly.
I hope so, Commander, for your sake. The Emperor is not as forgiving as I am.
Meanwhile, back at the Cathedral of Wisdom, it's time for the comic rack. Hey, nice rack.
Knock it off, perv.
No, it's the latest news from the enormous world of comics. Right here on the Ninja Troll Digicast.
All right, first thing, it's kind of sad news. Alan Moore has announced that he is retired from writing comic books.
How dare he?
But he's not leaving out of any negative feelings towards the medium, but rather he feels like he's said what he needs to say.
Ooh.
And he's done what he can do. So he's not like stopping creative. He's just transitioning into new stuff.
Maybe a novel form versus...
Exactly. Yeah. But he also says that he is tired of Batman. That was the direct quote at the beginning, but then he kind of expounded on it. He was saying that Batman is and other like characters are great characters, and they've been around a long time.
Yeah.
But they were created a long time ago.
Right.
So where creators today continue to work on Batman, they're robbing themselves of the opportunity to create new characters.
That's true.
That would be more for this time, a cultural icon for this time.
Mm-hmm.
Although I mean, it can be argued that Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Captain America have been around so long that they have become like mythology.
Yeah, like archetypes.
And so those stay around, and they have been modified slightly here and there. But having them around and still producing stories for them doesn't stop anybody from creating a new character.
I
think that becomes something you aspire to have something like Rob Liefeld and Fabian Nicieza did with Deadpool. They got one that just hit the perfect chord.
Yeah, but how many new characters never do that?
They
sparkle and fade, and so many.
Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Captain America, all created in late 30s, early 40s.
Mm-hmm.
How many other characters? So you could always say that. Yeah, you could always say that they're how many characters don't make it. Well, yeah, of course, that's the way it is. You throw a whole bunch of stuff against the wall.
Toro, the android Human Torch.
Exactly.
He didn't make it.
He didn't make it. But yeah, that's the thing. That's always the case. There's always going to be characters that just don't make it. But there's going to be those that break out and become that cultural icon.
I mean, Evil Ernie, for example, was
I love me some Evil Ernie.
He's a cult icon.
Oh yeah,
but he's not a commercial success.
Nope.
He's not a character that'll live forever. Yeah, I mean, or we hope. Well, he's dead, so yeah, he will.
It's true. Yeah,
but technically he will.
But yeah, there's. I mean, it's stuff like that and an argument could be made for Evil Ernie. He's not having like huge commercial success, but he came
a character.
Yeah, he came out of the 90s horror comic excess.
Right.
Yeah.
And everybody was engaging, right? So
I mean, the first did you ever read the Evil Ernie, the Youth Gone Wild that I gave you?
No, I've been only doing Crisis.
You need to do that.
Sorry.
It's in black and white, but if it was in color, like every other page would be completely red.
Yeah,
I mean,
blood or gore.
It was bloody, gory.
Green
but it
skin
was,
and
it was a product of its time.
Right.
And there's ones like that, like you said, it's a product of their time, but it doesn't explode and stay around forever. But then there's some that are.
Right.
So it's just a matter of, I think, keeping the old ones around. There's nothing wrong with that, to continue to do stories for the ones that have become mythological icons, but also at the same time continue to create new ones to try and find that next one.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, Spider-Man, Iron Man, the Avengers, they all came around 20, 25 years after the first
creation of the first
the Golden Age.
Right.
So and they have become just as iconic, and but at the time you would have to look at it and go, well, these other characters have been around 25 years. So yeah, I mean you have to go for it and still continue to try to come up with one, but not forget the ones that have done so well. And there's a reason they're still popular. Yeah. It's because they were so well made in the first place.
Right. Well, they sort of opened up this ability to make it so that you can reinvent them and shift them through time, and that they can work in the 40s and in the 20 teens. I mean, maybe we can contrast it with the Image boom, like when we got that whole glut of characters from Image, and it was like, how many of those are still around? Even some of the Valiant ones, some of their characters, like who's really sticking? And
you have a character like Spawn.
Yeah,
Spawn is probably the most
well-known
Image product.
And I think he's got a really cool backstory, right? And they're all anti-heroes. That's sort of like
that was the thing at the time.
The 90s,
that was it was very much the anti-hero was pretty much the formula for success.
Totally.
Yeah. But that whole little side note came from unfortunately Alan Moore has now calling it quits. So.
Poop on Batman.
Poop on you and Batman. So now we had talked about several weeks in a row. We talked about there was going to be a new star in the Iron Man comic book.
Yeah, and
it's going to be Riri Williams, who is the new. They're not saying she's the new Iron Man.
Oh, she's the female who built her own.
The 15-year-old MIT student who built her own suit. Obviously, that brings her to the attention of Tony Stark, who shows up at her house and offers to help her.
Really?
And
Instead of confiscating what she has?
Yeah. Well, she built her suit kind of the way he built his.
From parts.
Yeah. She stole from campus. That was in the first, I think it was the first comic she showed up in. All of a sudden, campus police is at the door going, we need to talk to you about some things.
Yeah.
And I think she busted out her dorm wall with her armor and took off.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Tony escaped a cave, right?
That's kind of the same thing. And when Tony shows up and offers to help, she asked him for an AI. She was like, I need an AI to run my suit. He's like, you realize that costs like $45 million, right?
Wow.
So but
she wants a Jarvis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Although hers is going to, her AI is going to be modeled after Tony's own personality. So that could be fun.
Yeah.
So he'll kind of still be in the book. And I'm still not quite sure what
joke around.
Yeah. Still not quite sure what their plans are for Tony. If she's going to be the lead in the book, what exactly is going to happen with him?
I don't know.
But she did choose, or they announced her superhero name is going to be Ironheart.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
Ironheart.
So,
nice.
So we'll see what happens there, and I mean, I'll give it a shot and see what. I mean, there has been other people to take the mantle. I mean, Rhodey did it.
Right.
Took over when Tony was a drunk. So
yeah, and even Osborn was a was Iron Patriot.
He was Iron Patriot. Yeah,
for a while,
exactly.
and people looked up to him.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll see. And if they knew, they only knew. So we'll see how this goes. So, Penn Jillette will be writing an upcoming issue of Spider-Man Deadpool.
like from Penn and Teller?
Yes.
Wow.
He'll be writing the episode as well as starring in the issue alongside his silent little buddy Teller.
Oh, nice.
So of course they're going to make an appearance in the comic. So I'm not sure what issue it's going to be. I thought that Spider-Man Deadpool was a limited series. Maybe they have expanded.
They're going to have it ongoing and then do
maybe.
Marvel Now stuff?
It's pretty funny. I mean, it's good.
I haven't touched the Marvel stuff in a while.
Yeah,
I can't
you've been all wrapped up in the multiverse.
Tell you what, man.
And the November solicitations are in for Marvel Comics, and they give us a little bit of a glimpse into Marvel Now.
Cool.
Some of the notables, Black Panther, World of Wakanda #1, gives us a wider-ranging look at the world that they're building for Black Panther there.
Oh,
and,
awesome.
Like an extension of the Black Panther monthly series.
And is this going to be also by Coates and
I
what's the
believe
team?
so, yes.
Okay, cool. Good.
I think
They're
so.
Magic, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Thanos #1 will give us a new story of the Mad Titan.
Cool.
And the Unworthy Thor #1 will feature the return of Thor Odin's son and Beta Ray Bill.
Oh,
awesome!
Wow.
So I'm sure that's going to be Beta Ray Bill will most probably
be Thor.
Help him
become
get
worthy.
back to where he needs to be.
Oh wow. Is Beta Ray Bill like a more like a?
He's a warrior. He comes from a warrior race and actually
of horse skulls.
Yes, he actually wielded the hammer.
Yeah.
He fought Thor. Thor, like while they were fighting, he dropped the hammer, and Beta Ray Bill just went scoop, and everybody is like freaking out, and he's like, he didn't know what was going on because he didn't realize, hey, you're not supposed to be able to pick that up.
Right.
So yeah, I'm interested to see him come back and see what they're doing with Thor Odin's son.
I thought Beta Ray Bill has been out of comics for a while.
I don't think he's been around for a good while.
I mean, he's a pretty sort of one-dimensional character when you really think about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's why he doesn't show up that often.
Yeah,
it's kind of a one-trick pony. It could be the frog.
One-dimensional man.
Be Battle Frog Thor. For a time, Thor was a frog.
Wow.
Google it.
I'm gonna. Okay, you continue with your rack.
I will.
I will Google.
And there's been a lot of repercussions from Civil War 2. And in Uncanny Avengers #14, you found it. I see the look on your face.
That is incredible.
I don't remember exactly whether that was Thor turned into a frog or what, but I remember.
I am
that
just so.
Just wrap your head around that.
It wasn't Thor. It was somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah, because he said, "Oh no, I don't know. Maybe he did." Yeah. All right. Wow.
Yeah,
cool.
That's interesting. But in Uncanny Avengers #14 coming out next week, Quicksilver has a broken leg, and his mind is being controlled by the Red Skull. Rogue and Cable are aligning themselves with Sebastian Shaw and Toad to find a cure for the Mpox that is killing off the mutant population. And Brother Voodoo's brother, so I guess brother Voodoo, is trying to sell the body of the Hulk.
His other brother Voodoo.
The Hulk was killed by Hawkeye a couple of issues ago in Civil War 2.
Oh, okay. That's news.
Now, Brother Voodoo's brother is trying to sell the body of the Hulk to the Hand for resurrection as one of their thrall. Yikes.
Damn. So if they do bring him back, he's going to be like a crazy, evil lunatic.
It's
now.
possible, yes.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Well, they're keeping the Hulk alive.
Yeah.
Or around, yeah.
Around at least.
Weekend at Banners.
That's right. Yeah. But that's the thing. He died as Banner. So if they resurrect him, would he be the Hulk
again? Yeah,
or he'd just be a nerdy scientist?
Yeah,
nobody
they'll probably do that. And they'd be like, "We thought you were going to be an angry green guy. Instead, you're just an annoying man."
Put him in the corner. Now, back in issue 100 of The Walking Dead, which was the first appearance of Negan. He made his entrance in a fairly brutal fashion.
With the beating of Glenn, right?
Yeah, with one of the most brutal deaths that the series has ever seen.
Oh, boy.
With the beating to death of Glenn with Lucille, the barbed wire bat.
Right.
Now with this week's issue 158, we've got another contender for the most brutal death from the Whisperers War. The Whisperer War is what's going on now.
Story arc?
Yes.
What? Tell me, I'm dying.
I'm not going to say who it is.
Oh, okay.
But
how did they die?
Okay. Negan infiltrated the Whisperers.
Okay. Alpha's the leader of the Whisperers.
Alpha is the leader of the Whisperers. Negan infiltrated the Whisperers, got into her confidence, then cut her head off, killed her and cut her head off, and took it back to Rick to prove his worth, basically.
Oh my God.
Beta, who is obviously her second in charge, is now the leader of the Whisperers, and he's a little pissed. So, or as in the letters column for the issue, as Robert Kirkman called him, Frowny McTwo-Knives. That's how he referred to Beta. Yes.
Beta Bill? No, Beta.
No, not Beta Ray Bill. Just Beta. But they attack Alexandria. Somebody's on guard duty. Tries to go run and tell everybody that they're coming. Gets caught in a ladder and is essentially hanging upside down when Beta comes across him, and it's not good.
Oh.
Yeah, it's laid out very brutally.
Ooh.
But like I said, it just came out like 2 days ago, so I'm not going to get into
all right. That's true, right?
To who it is.
Comic Book Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I'm going to Heroes this afternoon to get my comics. So I can't wait to read it. So
they're gonna be like, damn.
Yeah, it's like Norm and Cheers. Yeah. And they're also teasing a clash between Negan and Beta for next issue.
Oh, well, sounds like
that's going to be
You cut my Alpha's head off.
That's going to be. Well, he didn't trust him the whole time, and he told Alpha that she shouldn't trust him. He wanted to kill him, and then he's
smooth.
It's going to be
Negan-licious.
It's right. Yeah, it's going to be trouble.
Into my eye.
And likewise, in this week's Amazing Spider-Man number 17, there's a death in there as well.
Oh,
it's part of the. We've been teasing the Dead No More story that's coming up in Spider-Man. This is the before Dead No More. It's like a lead-up story.
Okay.
Aptly titled.
Yeah.
Again, it just came out this week, so we're not going to get into
too much detail,
who it is because it's fresh. But they're starting out Dead No More with a body count.
Ooh.
So, and the ongoing Son of Superman story that's been playing out in Superman.
Yeah,
has finally came to a head in this week's issue. This is not really a spoiler because everybody knows it's coming. They've finally, costume and all, named Jonathan Kent Superboy.
Ooh.
So he's got a new costume, kind of updated.
And is this going to be
from the old school
angry Superboy? Like, will he become distraught and disgruntled?
I don't think so. I think that was like the 90s Superboy. He had the shaved side of the head haircut
during reign of or death of Superman.
Yes, yeah, he was all cranky and stuff. But
he's been cranky a lot.
That's true. Yeah, but Jonathan is like he's like a regular kid. He's like he knows that I'm not sure where they're at in the story. For a long time, he knew his dad did stuff, but he wasn't quite sure because he did stuff. His dad is the pre-Flashpoint Superman who is living on this world where there's another Superman. So he's done all his stuff in secret.
Does he have like a beard?
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, he had a beard in the black suit with the silver symbol on it.
Mm-hmm.
But he did everything in secret so that he wouldn't take away from this world's Superman. So Jonathan knows that his dad does this stuff. So it's just, he's just been a normal kid. But, oh, hey, my dad does this stuff.
In Smallville.
Yeah. So, but it was interesting. The costume is interesting. It looks like almost sneakers instead of boots. But the belt looks a lot like the new 52 belt. Symbol looks pretty much the same, and then there's like a little short cape.
Can I see this?
Yeah, it should be on comicbook.com. They had some pictures. So.
Oh, cool.
And pre-orders for Mark Waid and Humberto Ramos's upcoming Champions #1 have reached over 400,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
The new team, the new Champions team will feature Nova, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Miss Marvel, the Incredible Hulk, the Amadeus Cho, totally awesome Hulk, but I refuse to call him that.
You love him.
Viv Vision, which is the created daughter of Vision. Vision wanted a family, so he created one.
Is he still with Scarlet Witch?
I don't think so.
Because she went crazy. That was what Avengers
nuts.
Disassembled was all about.
No, I think he just he decided he wanted a family, so he made one. And they all look just like him.
They're all Vision.
Yeah.
Vision-y.
So Viv Vision is his daughter, air quotes daughter. She'll be on the team. And young Cyclops from the all-new X-Men. This is Cyclops from the past, essentially, pulled into this time. So he's like 15, 16 years old.
Oh, so it was like when he was, an early X-Men.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
when they actually had them as teenagers.
Yeah, and the solicitation for the issue sounds like they're going to be going against him first, and then he'll be like brought into the team. So
cool.
But yeah, it's over. I mean, with the cast of young like teenage superstars, that's getting a lot of press. But also Mark Waid and Humberto Ramos. You know it's gonna. Yeah, exactly. You know it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
So that's pushing them up, and the order period's not over, so it could hit 500,000.
No doubt. If it's already getting this level of fanfare.
Yeah, it could easily hit 500,000. So
yes.
And DC Comics and Dynamite Entertainment are joining forces again for Wonder Woman 77 meets the Bionic Woman.
Thank God. That's awesome. I'm a big fan of the 77 series.
Yeah.
It doesn't come out often, so.
And this is going to be written by Andy Mangels and illustrated by Judith Tondoro. The series will launch on December 7th.
Nice.
That could be interesting because they did. They crossed with Batman 66 and Green Hornet.
Yep, and also like Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Does Dynamite do Man from U.N.C.L.E.?
No, I think it was just DC.
Okay.
I guess.
But this is specifically
Dynamite must own.
Yeah,
Bionic
specifically
Woman.
Dynamite. They published the Green Hornet Batman thing together.
Oh, they did. Okay.
So yeah,
they own the Bionic Woman property.
Yeah.
For comics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and Image Comics will reportedly be moving their physical offices from the current Berkeley, California office to Portland, Oregon.
Oh, rent will be cheaper. It'll be
Exactly. That's the big thing there. The price of doing business in Berkeley is just probably
huge.
Crazy.
Right.
They were in Berkeley. They've been there for about a decade, and they were originally there because Eric Larson was the publisher, and he lived in the Bay Area. So he was like, all right, let's do this here.
Let's move it here.
And before that, they were in Anaheim when Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld were in charge, and they live in Anaheim. So they're like, yeah, let's do it here.
That's cool. I didn't know Image was a Californian-based thing.
Yep. Yeah, because all those guys are living out there. So
yeah.
So, and back in July, DC Comics announced a miniseries called Hawkman and Adam Strange Out of Time.
Oh, cool.
Featuring the two space heroes working together to prevent war between Strange's adopted world of Rann and Thanagar, where Hawkman is from.
Right.
Now the title has been changed to the much more ominous Death of Hawkman.
What?
Quite frankly, Hawkman's no stranger to dying.
Yeah.
It happens a lot to him.
He reincarnates, yeah.
So, actually, they've changed that. That was the Golden Age Hawkman was the like what we see on Legends of Tomorrow is the reincarnated guy from ancient Egypt.
But now he's a Thanagar.
The Silver Age, the Silver Age Hawkman was a space cop from Thanagar who was undercover on Earth. Then they kind of combined the two into some kind of weird hawk god, and they dropped that. But the new 52 version takes the Carter I mean, they're all Carter Hall, but it's the difference in how you spell it.
Yeah.
Qatar Hall is the Thanagarian Silver Age name.
Okay.
The New 52 version takes that name, but instead of being a space cop from Thanagar, he's a refugee who's fleeing the Thanagarian society.
Oh, wow.
So
that's better because the cops are lanterns.
Exactly, yeah. So it's kind of weird to have the same thing going on.
Yeah.
That was the New 52 version, though. So
what are we going to get in Rebirth?
Exactly. What are we going to get in Rebirth? What's it going to be?
Is there going to be?
But obviously, there's a connection to Thanagar.
Yeah.
So
because of the strange, and Hawkman crossover. That's cool.
So it'll be interesting to see. I've always liked Hawkman, so it'll be interesting to see what we get now. And I think that's everything in Rebirth is like, okay, what are we going to get? Because they could change anything back to what it used to be or what. I mean, so, and Hawkman's got a really weird history because he's flip-flopped so many times with his origins.
Right.
So you never quite know what he's going to get. Yeah, and even his powers. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but the new series will be written by Mark Andreyko and illustrated by Aaron Lepestri, and it will come out on October 5th.
Oh, nice. That's very soon.
Yep. So, all right, that's a spin of a comic rack, and coming up, we're going to take a look at the ships of Star Trek.
Where does it get those wonderful toys?
Want to find out all you need to know about the Ninja Troll toys? Head over to NinjaTrollDigicast.com. There you can listen to our latest show as well as find all of our previous episodes. You can also find our minicast, small bite-sized versions of our showcase and exploring the multiverse segments, and find out more about Mike and Tim. And while you're there, click on the subscribe to iTunes button to make sure you never miss an episode of the Ninja Troll. That's all at NinjaTrollDigicast.com.
Wait till they get a load of me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ninja Troll Digicast proudly presents The Showcase.
All right, this is our showcase segment where we take a certain subject and we shine the Ninja Troll spotlight on it and take a closer look at it. This is part one of our three-part big tribute to Star Trek on the 50th anniversary of the first airing of Star Trek, the original series.
Nice.
So for this part one of the series, we're going to take a look at the ships for the different series in the Star Trek universe. Obviously, the first is the original series. It was the ship on that show was the USS Enterprise, NCC 1701. It was originally art director Matt Jeffries was the primary designer of the original Enterprise. In Gene Roddenberry's first outline draft for the series, it was actually called the Yorktown, but he changed it to the Enterprise later.
Yorktown's been in the show, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
Jeffrey's experience with aviation helped to imbue the design with what he called aircraft logic, although he confessed to have taken some inspiration and artistic license from electric stove coils. Wherever you get the inspiration.
That's cool. That's good with us.
For the registration number, the NC was part of the International Aircraft Registration Code for planes in the United States, and the second C was added because the Soviet Union space program used the CCCP designation. And Jeffrey's belief that any major future space projects would be a combined international effort. So he combined the two. In the fictional universe, the NCC stood for Naval Construction Contract. The 1701 had two functions. It represented the first ship of a 17th Federation cruiser design, and also the digits were unlikely to be misread, like 6, 8, or 9. So they chose those ones specifically.
So you could easily see it.
Exactly.
Cool.
In several episodes, the USS is said to be United Spaceship. The ship was built from 2043, between 2043 and 2045, and was commissioned in 2045. It was a Constitution-class ship with a cruising speed of Warp 6, although Warp 7 was the maximum safe speed. Warp 8 was tolerable for a brief period, and Warp 9 at extreme risk. That's when Scotty started screaming to she couldn't take it. It was going to tear up.
We don't have the power.
For defenses, it had deflector shields and weaponry, including phaser banks and photon torpedo launchers. Propulsion was provided by maneuvering thrusters, subspace impulse engines, and the warp drive, powered by matter-antimatter warp core. It was 289 meters in length. The ship's components were built at the Starfleet division of the San Francisco Naval Yard and assembled in orbit, not in order. Well, I guess it was in order, too.
Yeah, one piece at a time.
It had a crew complement of 428. The first captain, when it was commissioned, was Robert April. After him, Christopher Pike became the captain and commanded the Enterprise for about a decade before he was promoted to fleet captain. Succeeding Pike was Captain James T. Kirk. Kirk commanded the ship on a 5-year mission of exploration. On return from the mission, Kirk was promoted to admiral, and the Enterprise went through an 18-month refit. After the refit, the ship was somewhat larger at 305 meters long. Other ships that were shown during the original series was the USS Constellation in the Doomsday Machine, the USS Exeter in the Omega Glory, the USS Defiant in the Tholian Web, USS Excalibur, Lexington, Potemkin, and Hood in the Ultimate Computer.
Potemkin? Wow.
Yes. Yeah, it was, I don't think it was actually seen. Or no,
reference?
The 4 of them were seen, but they were all Constitution class. They used the same model. It was just like 4 Enterprises on the screen in a square formation. And the USS Intrepid was in the remastered version of the Court Martial.
The Intrepid.
Yes. The Intrepid was actually, it was referenced in another episode. It was completely staffed by Vulcans.
Oh.
That was in the Doomsday Machine. That was the ship that was destroyed by the Doomsday Machine. And because all the people on it were Vulcans, Spock heard their last
screams
psychic scream, basically. That's an awesome name for a band.
Psychic Scream.
Psychic Scream.
We are Psychic Scream.
That's right.
Rock and roll.
But that is the other ships that were shown in the original series.
Cool.
Now, for Star Trek: The Next Generation, the ship was USS Enterprise NCC 1701D. The Enterprise D was built at Utopia Planitia Fleet Yards in orbit around Mars and launched in the year 2363 and was commissioned a year later. Captain Jean-Luc Picard took command on Stardate 41148. And I've always tried to figure out what the correlation between Stardate and actual years.
Oh.
And I've never quite been able. I'm sure there's a formula somewhere online.
Let's look it up.
Somebody could tell me for sure, but I've never been able to figure it out. The Enterprise D had a total of 42 decks and was twice the length and had 8 times the interior space of the original Constitution class Enterprise. While the original carried only Starfleet personnel, the Galaxy class carried the crew plus their families and has a combined crew and passenger load of 1,012.
Whoa.
The captain had a ready room and a conference lounge right off of the bridge on deck 1. And it also had a lounge called 10 Forward and a holodeck that would allow people to interact with hologram programs and act out different scenarios.
Cool.
A lot of that was added specifically because there was families on board and they needed recreation.
What was the start date you had for Picard?
He took command. It was launched in 2363. And then Jean-Luc Picard took command on Stardate 41148.
41148?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which is, in real time, February 24th, 2364.
Shut up.
And this is the thing. The Stardate has time built into it. That's why it's so long.
Oh, okay.
So the time is at 4 p.m. Or a.m., I guess, and then 55 seconds.
Wow.
So that's what that sort of means. Year, month, date, hour, minute, second.
Okay.
Now you know.
There you go. But then they would use decimal points a lot of times too. .34 or something like that.
We're not dealing with that. Right
We're not even going to touch that.
Yeah.
Now, Picard was primarily the only captain of the ship. However, William T. Riker was briefly field promoted to captain when Picard was captured by the Borg in 2367. Also, in 2369, the Enterprise was commanded by Captain Edward Jellicoe, while Picard was assigned to a covert mission on the Cardassian planet of Celtris III. The ship was damaged and destroyed in the Battle of Viridian III in 2371 after an engagement with a renegade Klingon bird of prey, damaged the warp core and forced the crew to jettison the saucer section before the engineering section exploded. The saucer section crashed on Viridian 3.
The saucer.
Saucer. Sean Connery's the captain. Bring me a saucer.
Yeah.
An alternate future version of the Enterprise D was seen in the final episode of The Next Generation with Admiral William Riker in command. It had a third warp nacelle added to it and a cloaking device. Other ships seen in The Next Generation included the USS Enterprise C in yesterday's Enterprise, the USS Kyushu in the Best of Both Worlds. Actually, and probably in Best of Both Worlds, there was a lot because that was when they were fighting the Borg. There probably was a lot in that one. USS Phoenix in the Wounded, USS Stargazer in the Battle, and the USS Pasteur in All Good Things. That was the USS Pasteur was the ship that Beverly Crusher was the captain of. In the future, the All Good Things was the last episode, and they kept jumping forward in time to where Picard was old.
Their actions would influence. Oh,
yes, wow. And Beverly was the captain of the Pasteur. It was a medical ship. Now on
like Louis Pasteur.
Exactly.
Yeah.
On Star Trek Deep Space Nine, primarily, at least for the first part of the series, there was no ship. The space station was the deal.
Yeah.
So Deep Space Nine was originally a Cardassian mining and refinery station named Terek Nor that was in orbit around Bajor. It was commanded by Gul Dukat. I love that guy.
Yeah.
He was so awesome.
He was always, yeah.
But it was abandoned by the Cardassians at the end of the Bajoran occupation. The Bajoran government took control of the station and asked the Federation for assistance, who renamed it DS9 and put Commander Benjamin Sisko in command.
Yeah.
Now, later in the show, they did get a ship, the USS Defiant, NX-74.
Right?
No, it was a Starfleet ship.
It was a fighter, though, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was much smaller. It was it was actually built in response to the Borg threat. So it was more of a
fighter,
a straight up battleship,
bomber. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then they had the runabouts too, didn't they?
Oh yeah, they did have runabouts. Those were, I mean, they were like shuttlecraft, but they had like extra warp engines on them, so they could go way farther than the actual shuttlecraft could.
Right. Because they would go down to Bajor and stuff. I remember.
And they would actually take trips to other star systems and stuff like that.
Man,
so
with a runabout.
Yeah. Yeah, they actually had a pretty good distance that they could travel.
Nice.
So
on one charge.
That's right. Yeah. Now the USS Defiant, its number was NX-74205. Development on the Defiant began in 2366 in response to the Borg threat. It featured minimal scientific equipment and was not designed to accommodate families. Benjamin Sisko was part of the team that designed the Defiant. Unfortunately, it didn't perform well in initial tests. It was overpowered and overgunned for a ship its size. And actually, when they tried to test it out, the engines almost shook it apart.
Whoa.
It just wasn't. The engines were way too much for it.
Was this on the show?
No, I don't think it was on the show. They may have referenced it.
Yeah.
All this information is pretty much straight from the Star Trek Wikia.
Oh, okay. Because didn't the Maquis steal the Defiant or something, and then they stole it back? I remember that happening in an episode where the Defiant.
They may have.
And they had to steal it.
They may have. Yeah. I don't.
Because the Maquis was like a separatist human group, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get into them, especially in the Voyager part.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I lost my place.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah. It was overpowered and overgunned for a ship its size.
It almost shook apart. Right?
It almost shook apart, yeah. That and the downgraded Borg threat caused the ship to be placed in storage. Now, after the USS Odyssey was destroyed by the Jem'Hadar, Commander Sisko requested the ship be brought out of storage and assigned to DS9 to counter the new threat of the Dominion. It was officially launched in 2370, and Miles O'Brien spent 2 weeks overhauling the ship's structural integrity field to overcome the ship's design flaws, and added a Romulan cloaking device. Because the Romulans basically said, okay, we need to fight them together. So they're like, okay, here, take this and put this in your ship.
Cloaking technology.
Yeah, exactly. And at one point, a Worf, who was having trouble adjusting to life on the station rather than a ship, started living on the Defiant. He was more comfortable living on the ship. So, and it said it's not. Of course, he's a Klingon, so it's
right.
Not,
So he doesn't want to lay down on a hard surface.
Yeah, exactly. So he's fine there. It was also transported to the 23rd century, where it ended up encountering the original Enterprise at station Deep Space K7 during the events of the original series episode, The Trouble with Tribbles. The DS9 episode was Trials and Tribulations.
Yeah, I remember that one.
That was a good episode, yeah.
Well, they did that first CG.
They did really good.
Yeah, it was a great job.
They integrated them in very, very well. The Defiant was part of the Battle of Sector 1 when the Borg attacked Earth during the movie Star Trek First Contact. The Defiant was part of both the first and second Battle of Chintoka, and was one of 311 ships destroyed in the second battle by the Breen and Dominion forces. After the battle, the USS Sao Paulo was assigned to DS9 to replace the Defiant. Captain Sisko received permission from Starfleet Command to rename the Sao Paulo to Defiant. The new Defiant was slightly modified from the prototype, including redesigned deflector shield generators to counteract the Breen energy dampening weapon. And the Defiant participated in the Battle of Cardassia, the last battle of the Dominion War. So it was actually two ships. But and they actually, when they got the new ship, they commented that it didn't feel the same. It wasn't the same old girl. So they didn't like necessarily the new one.
You're making me want to watch DS9 all over.
I know, yeah. It was a good show. It was a really good show.
And I watched it when I was still a teenager, so like I wasn't quite paying attention like I do now. So like I feel like I should
probably rewatching it would be a good idea. Yeah.
It was really just a great show.
It's a good show. Yeah. Now, Star Trek Voyager, the main ship was the USS Voyager NCC 74656. The USS Voyager was an Intrepid class starship launched in 2371. It was built at Mars and featured a number of technological innovations: bioneural circuitry, variable geometry warp nacelles, and it was one of the first ships to test the Class 9 warp drive in deep space. Captain Catherine Janeway took command of Voyager, and it headed out on its first mission, finding a Maquis ship commanded by a disgruntled, I love that word, disgruntled, Starfleet officer Chakotay.
Oh, Chakotay.
That had gone missing in the Badlands. Janeway's security officer Tuvok had infiltrated the crew of the Maquis ship. After entering the Badlands, Voyager was thrown 70,000 light years into the Delta Quadrant, where it found Chakotay's ship that had also been sent there. After the Maquis ship was destroyed, the two crews were forced to merge for the trip home that was projected to take 75 years. I'm also, just like you, going back and watching, because I never really watched Voyager. I kind of like wrote it off. I didn't like
Janeway.
Well, it's not that I didn't like her. I didn't like her command voice. When she's speaking with somebody on a one-on-one basis, she modulates her voice. Everything's cool. It's fine. She is a great actress. But when she went into command person
mode,
it was very monotonous. It was and it kind of bugged me. And it became, the first couple episodes I watched, it was almost like Gilligan's Island in space. Like, oh, we're going to try to get home. Oh, here's the thing that can get us home. And then something happens and it doesn't work. And they're stuck.
That was the cereal. I mean, that was what it was every time.
And it started to kind of wear on me.
And like, are we there yet? Was like almost a resounding. Yeah, we're not there yet.
But I figured, what the heck? Let me watch a little bit of it and see. And it is the first couple episodes. Have been. I think I've watched 4 or 5.
Wow,
it's been pretty good.
Wow, more than Gotham.
Yeah, no, I watched the whole first season of Gotham. Thank you very much. Now, the Voyager had a crew complement of approximately 160, so it was a much smaller ship.
Yeah.
And was only half the size of a Galaxy-class ship. After Captain Janeway formed a brief alliance with the Borg, Voyager gained access to a large amount of Borg technology. The Borg equipped Voyager with modified torpedoes armed with collaboratively modified nanoprobes in order to fight Species 8472. The engines were also adapted with Borg transwarp technology, cutting 15 years off of the journey back to Earth. Now, I didn't dive too much into the end of the series there because I don't really want to ruin it for myself.
No, you should see. Yeah.
I know she actually, Admiral Janeway, comes back in time to give them stuff, which is kind of a weird little loop there. But hey, they've done.
That's how they figured out how to. Well, you should watch it.
Yeah.
now that you just said it, yeah.
They've done weird stuff in time loops in Star Wars or Star Trek before. So, now the movies, the first movie, the Star Trek the Motion Picture, was the USS Enterprise NCC 1701, but the refitted one after the 5-year mission. The new captain of the Enterprise after the refit was William Decker, son of Commodore Matt Decker. He oversaw the majority of the refit until the approaching V'ger probe caused Admiral Kirk to retake command, with Decker remaining as first officer. Decker eventually merged with V'ger. The Enterprise then went on a second 5-year exploration mission with Kirk in command. The Enterprise was then converted into a training ship, and Spock was promoted to captain. But again, Kirk takes command, recurring theme, to investigate the problems with Project Genesis. Enterprise is badly damaged by the USS Reliant after Reliant was hijacked by Khan Noonien Singh, and Captain Spock was able to save the ship but lost his life in the process. The Enterprise returned to space dock to find that the Enterprise had been marked for decommissioning. In an attempt to recover Captain Spock's body, Admiral Kirk led his crew in stealing the Enterprise and returning to Genesis. They were there attacked by a Klingon ship, which inflicted mortal damage to the ship, leading Kirk to destroy the Enterprise by activating the self-destruct system. That was Star Trek 2, and actually 1, 2, and 3.
3, yeah.
Yes.
And then don't they get the Klingon ship at the end? Don't
yes.
they?
Yeah, they take the Klingon ship and take it to Vulcan.
Right.
And then
they go back in time.
They go back to Earth, go back in time, and
save the whales.
Get the whales here. Now, the USS Enterprise NCC 1701A was introduced at the end of the events of Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home. The crew and the recently demoted Captain Kirk are given a new ship, the Enterprise A, NCC 1701A. The ship is a Constellation-class ship, just like the refitted original, but it was commissioned as the Enterprise. Some sources say that it had formerly been the Yorktown. So just like the original concept was, it was going to be the Yorktown. So that's where they.
So they were able to. That's clever.
Or the newly built but not commissioned USS Tiho, or the also newly built USS Atlantis. In Star Trek V: The Final Frontier, the ship is dispatched to rescue hostages on Nimbus 3, and Spock's brother Sybok hijack the ship and take it through a horrible movie. After this, in Star Trek VI, the undiscovered country, the Enterprise becomes embroiled in a conflict with the Klingons, and with the help of the Excelsior under the command of Captain Sulu, defeats the Klingons and saves the Federation president from an assassination attempt. There's no official notice of what happened with the ship after Star Trek VI, but there were several mentions of it being the last voyage of the Enterprise, and at the end of the movie, Uhura received a communication from Starfleet ordering them to space dock to be decommissioned.
That's right.
Although Kirk did ignore that order.
That's right.
He did say in his final log that the Enterprise would be left in the care of another crew. So it may have just been that the crew was stepping down. The Enterprise B was launched later that year. Speaking of Enterprise B, the USS Enterprise NCC 1701B was an Excelsior-class ship and was commissioned in 2293 at the beginning of the movie Star Trek Generations. On the launch, the ship, under the command of John Harriman, retirees Captain Kirk, Montgomery Scott, and Pavel Chekhov are on board when the ship is pressed into service to rescue two ships that came in contact with the Nexus energy ribbon. During the rescue, Kirk goes to the deflector control to alter the deflector dish, and the section of ship is struck by the ribbon, and Kirk is sucked into the Nexus.
Yes.
Also on board at the launch, the helmsman Demora Sulu. She is the daughter of Hikaru Sulu, the helmsman of the original Enterprise. In 2311, she succeeded Harriman as the captain of the Enterprise B. After Sulu, the next captain was William George, and then the final captain was Thomas Johnson Jr. The ship was lost and presumed destroyed in 2329. Now, the Enterprise, USS Enterprise NCC 1701E was a Sovereign-class starship that was launched in 2372 as the most advanced starship in the fleet. It was 685 meters long and had 24 decks. It went through a refit by 2379, adding 4 additional phaser arrays and 5 additional torpedo tubes and increasing the number of decks to 29. This ship did not include any families or children. This was introduced in... Was it First Contact? Yes, First Contact. Star Trek First Contact. Captain Jean-Luc Picard assumed command shortly after it was christened, a little over a year after the D was destroyed. Most of the crew from Enterprise D transferred to E, and after a year-long shakedown, the ship was ordered to the Romulan neutral zone during the second Borg attack and the Battle of Sector 1, or 001. Picard disobeyed orders and returned to Earth during the battle. The Borg cube was destroyed, but it launched the ship backwards into time to prevent human first contact with Vulcans. The Enterprise followed and was able to defeat the Borg in the past and return to our time. In 2379, the Enterprise was damaged in the battle with the Scimitar. Riemann Warbird, commanded by the new Praetor of the Romulan Empire, Shinzon, who is a human clone of Captain Picard, played by Bane and Mad Max. The ship rammed the Scimitar, causing the destruction of much of the saucer section's forward area. After that, the Enterprise returned to Earth for an extensive refit. So that is a look at the ships of Star Trek.
Nice.
So
this is part 1.
Yes,
so
this is part 1 of the Star Trek
what can we
Showcase.
Expect?
Part 2 of the Star Trek Showcase is going to be on the Klingons. That's always been one of my favorite things about Star Trek, and I always wish that they had done a series
just on Klingons.
Just on Klingons.
That'd be super.
I would
cool.
love it. They'd be
the only race you could really do that with.
I think so. Yeah,
that would be a good enough show.
In the Next Generation, whenever they would go to the Klingon homeworld and they would interact with, I loved their society. The way it was, it was all built on honor and warriors and all this,
right,
but they also had political backbiting. They didn't want to admit it.
Right.
And if you were caught doing it,
that was the worst.
You were in trouble.
Right.
But everybody did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was, I always loved that, that society whenever we got to see it. So it was, I think it would be awesome to have a series just based on the Klingons.
That'd be cool.
That would be really cool. So
yeah, that'd be really cool. Well, maybe this new Star Trek, what's the new series?
Discovery is going to be set. It's actually going to be set before the original series.
Oh, okay.
So we won't be able to do that. Yeah.
I was wondering if maybe they were going to do something like that, where they could have us follow 3 or 4 different characters across the Star Trek universe. And they converge in some way. But anyway, it's not going to work. We'll pitch that. We'll tweet it.
It's armchair writing. So.
It is. Well, I have an idea.
Yeah, but next week is going to be the Klingons. And the third part, I'm still a little undecided on. You had suggested possibly doing something about the quadrants.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Because we are in the Alpha Quadrant, obviously.
Right.
Then there was
Delta, Gamma.
The Delta Quadrant was where Voyager was.
Right. What got thrown. Gamma was where the
wormhole went
was,
to.
Right. And then is there I
don't know if there's another section to tell you the
there
truth.
Need to be a fourth quadrant.
It's got to be. Yeah, it would have. Yeah.
Is it beta or I don't know?
I guess.
Let's see. Star Trek.
Beta's on Walking Dead.
Star Trek quadrants. Okay, so we got alpha, beta, gamma, delta.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And
so I might look into that. I don't know. That might not be enough to fill like a showcase segment. So maybe.
I'm looking. There's some decent amount of stuff here, just even on Wikipedia.
Huh.
The galactic quadrants of Star Trek. There's some maps that have cool. Where the space is. So that could be cool, right? Let's see. Delta is where the Borg Collective is. There's unknown space. Beta has the Klingons, the Romulans.
Oh, cool.
Alpha is where we are.
See, I didn't realize. I thought I kind of assumed that the
everything was in Alpha.
Yeah, everything was in Alpha. Mm-hmm. Everything we knew was in Alpha.
Nope.
Huh. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, in Alpha, believe it or not, Bajor is here.
Ah.
What? Former Cardassian Union.
Oh.
Yep. Patriarchal Order of Talaria.
The Tholians.
Tholians. And the Breen Confederacy.
Oh, yeah.
Could be cool. All right,
could be. I know definitely next week is the Klingons. That's for sure.
Yes.
And we may do the quadrants the week after, or if I come up with something else, I might do that. I don't know. But it's going to be on Star Trek. By golly. All right, before we get out of here, we want to give you our picks of the week. My pick is along the theme for today. BBC America this entire weekend is showing Star Trek, the original series.
Oh, back to back.
Yep.
Awesome.
So you might as well just figure you're not going to be able to contact me.
And they're on Netflix, aren't they? Or are they off now?
They're on my shelf at home, but still, if it's on TV, I got to watch it. It's just the way it is. But they're going to be airing them uncut and unremastered. So it's the original versions that we saw when we were kids.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. My pick has nothing to do with Star Trek.
Damn it.
But everything to do with awesome. This new series on Netflix called The Get Down.
Oh, I've seen stuff about that.
Yeah.
I need to check that out.
It's 1977 in New York City, the Bronx. And the Bronx is crumbling, falling apart. And it's basically the death of disco and the birth of hip-hop.
Ah.
So in the turf that we follow a fictional group of graffiti writers, one of which is Will Smith's son.
Oh, cool.
Break dancers, rappers, and DJs, and they do rap battles and stuff all around town with Kool Herc, Grandmaster Flash, Africa Bambaataa. Wow. And meanwhile, there's this disco club owning granny, who's a real thug, and she's trying to get these guys knocked out, and hip hop will never rise. It's going to be all disco forever. Really cool show.
That's cool. Yeah, I might have to check that out.
It's worth watching.
Cool.
Very nostalgic.
Good deal. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up this week's edition of the Ninja Troll Digicast. Remember, for all the latest news from all around geek culture, make sure you follow us on social media, facebook.com/Ninja Troll Digicast.
We're on Twitter at Ninja Troll Show.
And Instagram at Ninja Troll Digicast.
You can catch us on YouTube at youtube.com/C/Ninja Troll Digicast.
And you can always visit us at NinjaTrollDigicast.com. And while you're there, click on the subscribe to iTunes button to get the Ninja Troll on iTunes. Make sure you join us next week. Same Ninja time, same Ninja channel.
You've been listening to the Ninja Troll Digicast. Tune in next time when you'll hear Tim say,
What a filthy job. Could be worse. How? Could be raining.
This is the Ninja Troll Digicast, the defenders of all things geek culture.
Don't go ninja, nobody don't need ninja.